Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to AFTERBUZZ TV's The Concert Experience. Today we have amazingly talented vocalist and The Voice alumni, Felicia Temple. So don't move a muscle.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Concert Experience here on the AFTERBUZZ TV network. Let's listen for a sec, because that's the amazing voice of my guest, Felicia Temple. Felicia, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. If you guys want to find me online before we dive in, my name is Jeff Graham. You can do so at Jeffrey C. Graham. Felicia, if they want to connect with you on social media, where can they do that?
Instagram, Twitter, at Felicia Temple.
Amazing. I can't imagine there's a ton of Felicia Temples, so I'm sure you're easy to find, right?
But there is a Felicia Temple on Facebook. So I'm
really?
Felicia Temple Music on Facebook.
Somehow someone got to it
Of
first.
all places.
Yeah, when you have a name like Jeff Graham, it can be hard to distinguish yourself among the internet. So it's probably nice that you can kind of have that as a... and of course, now you are by far the most famous Felicia Temple because you have a very illustrious burgeoning music career that was made big on The Voice, but you were working even before you got on The Voice, which is really cool.
Yes.
You grew up in a musical family. So I kind of want to talk about that. Your dad was associated with the Sugarhill Gang. Is that right?
Yes, he still is. Actually, my dad's overseas in Europe right now. He's gone until August. He's on tour.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So what was that like growing up in a musical family?
It was something that was every day. You know, there's always music in the house. Someone's always playing. Someone's always singing.
Mm-hmm.
My aunt and my uncle were the first artists ever signed to Jive, ever.
Wow.
You know, I grew up in the studio doing homework on the couch while my dad was recording. So it's
Wow.
just always been something that's there.
So do you feel like that's almost pressure for you to enter a musical career, or do you feel like it just kind of came naturally?
For me, it came naturally. You know, my other brothers and sisters, no one sings. My
Yeah,
sister
really.
can sing very well, and she just doesn't like the spotlight. But for me, it was just, I knew I had to be about 5. And I said, Mom, I want to be a singer. And she goes, oh, no, not you too.
Definitely. As someone who's also, you know, pursuing the arts, parents can sometimes be wary of that because, you know, it can be the most exciting career and then sometimes a heartbreaking career as well. A lot of
Yes.
ups and downs if you choose to pursue music. But as of late, you've had a lot of ups. Of course, you were already pursuing your career, and you had a following before The Voice actually happened. So what I'm really curious to hear from you is what it was like to already kind of have, because a lot of people on The Voice, really that's their first exposure to people, is their, you know, entrance into this huge reality show. What was it like kind of already having kind of pushed for your career and then going on The Voice? Can you talk a little bit about what that experience was like?
Well, I had music out. I had 2 projects out, but The Voice actually came at a perfect time because although, you know, the snowball effect happens. You put out something good, it catches, you know, you get one yes from somebody and, you know, people start to know who you are, you get fans. But at the time, you know, in 2015, I got diagnosed with cancer.
Wow.
So getting sick just made me shut everything down. As much as I wanted to keep working, I couldn't. I was having surgery and I was on chemo and there was a lot of stuff going on.
Are you cancer-free now, by the way?
I am under watch. There's no evidence of the disease in my body, but technically in the neuroendocrine tumor community, we never say cancer-free.
Wow. Well, I mean, fighting, that's so inspirational. Congratulations on pushing and fighting. That's amazing for both me and for our listeners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So The Voice actually came at a perfect time because it was just around the time where I knew my chemo was about to be done. I had a couple more rounds to go, and I was trying to figure out what my next move would be, and I got a phone call. So, you know, it like fell out of the sky.
Wow.
It couldn't have happened at a better time.
So I want to hear about, it's really great because a lot of our listeners already know The Voice because they're fans of our after show. And I'm sure people tuning in who may have known you before The Voice or because of The Voice would love to know kind of about the process. So did you audition with any kind of producer solicitation or did you kind of go on your own accord?
Oh, no, they found me.
Okay, that happens sometimes, I know.
They completely found me.
Yeah.
And I was fortunate enough to completely skip the line.
Nice.
Per se.
Yeah, that happens.
You know, so I came straight out to LA to prepare for the blind auditions.
Yeah, had you spent much time in LA before coming out here for The Voice?
Before coming out here for The Voice, I was only in LA once ever.
Wow.
I come to the Grammys, I think, 3 years ago.
Okay, cool.
And that was the only time I was ever out here. So it was kind of cool because I arrived and, you know, the other contestants that were preparing for the blinds, they had kind of gone through the other rounds together. So they're like, who are you?
Yeah.
You know?
And you're like, I'm here to change the game, is what you said. So the thing is, though, you probably didn't get to see the city much because a lot of times when you're on these reality shows, they really kind of keep you cooped up and confidential because a lot of fans are wondering things. And it shoots at CBS Television City. Am I right in saying that?
No,
oh, no,
NBC
Universal.
shoots at Universal.
That's right. Okay, so did they keep you kind of in Universal City around here?
They keep you locked up. I will not say where before some lawyer comes and finds me.
That's right.
But they keep you locked away in a hotel, and you know the area around the hotel very well, and because that's as far as you can go.
Absolutely. Well, the thing I love about The Voice is I feel like there are some reality competition shows, I won't say which ones, that don't necessarily feature vocalists in the way that they kind of deserve to be featured. Or, you know, on dance shows or some reality competition shows, it feels like there's so much of a heavy hand and it's not necessarily about the talent as much as it is about the drama. But I really feel like The Voice honors vocalists. Did you feel like you kind of were honored as really the talent and the vocal, you know, powerhouse on the show?
I will say this show gave me the chance to sing songs that I don't know that I would have gotten the chance to sing if I was on another show. Maybe not songs that I would have thought of initially, but to sing, you know, Celine Dion, to get to sing Idina Menzel, you know, to get to sing Etta James, like these are songs that you may not see on other shows. And I was honored because they said to me, we know you can sing it.
Right.
You know, we're going to push you to the limit because we know you can sing it. So,
well, that's the thing. Your Celine performance especially is My Heart Will Go On is one of my favorite performances that we've ever seen on The Voice. That must have been a little bit of pressure because Celine Dion is regarded as one of the queens. How did you feel? Did you know going in that you were going to nail it, or were there any nerves?
You know, there's always nerves. I'm not a nervous performer.
Yeah.
But when you get on a stage like that and it's always do or die, you're nervous. You know, normally when I sing, I'm just singing and you can take it or leave it. You can love it or hate it. But on this, I need you to love it. And I need you to love it so much that I need to win.
Yeah.
You know, so it adds a new dimension. But once I started singing it, I just had to kind of, you know, get my zen. And I was like, I got this.
Yeah, and you killed it. That kind of leads me to another question I have is, what were some of the biggest challenges that you faced on The Voice as a vocalist compared to just a traditional concert, for example?
The biggest challenge I think I faced on The Voice, which will probably be kind of odd to hear, is that when you do things like this, you realize that your voice is no longer your superpower. I always say, as a singer or an entertainer, you know, coming into this, maybe wherever you're from, you're the best singer that you've ever heard, you know, the best that you've ever known. And then you get into this competition and, you know, you start out and people turn their chairs and there's 48 people and you're looking around at some of the most talented people you've ever seen. And you start to realize, like, what makes me different from that person? Like, they can sing too. So, like, the one thing you've always depended on to make you stand out and be different, everyone has it.
Right.
You know, so it's like, what am I going to do? Do I have to roll on the floor? Is it my outfit? Like, you know, you're trying to figure out what makes you you.
Absolutely. So what do you feel like you discovered about yourself or your identity as an artist through that challenge?
Well, what I feel like I discovered about myself is that I'm really able to do anything. You know, I started out really wanting to stick to what I knew, which was R&B. I'm an R&B singer, and that's what I sing. So I started out with Etta James. And then there were songs that were on my wish list that I really wanted to sing. Titanium, so, you know, Billboard pop hit.
Right.
You know, then the classic Celine Dion, which is like a timeless song, one of the hardest songs to ever sing. And I was like, I'm going to do that, you know, and then Broadway. So I feel like I got to hit so many different genres.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing I love about the show is it really pushes all these vocalists to give us dimensions that we might not necessarily see in a traditional solo career. So it was so much fun to watch your journey, and I have to applaud you on just a classy, exciting journey to watch on that show. So congratulations.
Thank you so very much.
I have to imagine, as someone who was nicknamed Felicia Keys growing up, it was pretty cool to be working with Alicia Keys on the show.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And, you know, every time I would see her on set, you know, from afar, they're sitting in the chairs or whatever, and everybody's kind of getting all set up and, you know, the cameras are getting ready to go. And I'm just still like looking out there like, holy crap, it's Alicia Keys.
Yeah.
Like, it never gets old.
Absolutely.
It never gets old.
Well, it was so much fun to watch your journey on The Voice. But more excitingly, you have a solo EP out now that I've listened to. I love it. We were talking before, it kind of has shades of Sade. How else would you maybe describe the EP? It's called, just so you all know, it's called The Balancing Act. Is it already out? Or?
It is out.
Okay, great.
It
I wasn't
came
sure
out
if
on
I
Friday.
was, that's what I thought. I wasn't sure if I was listening to like an exclusive press copy or if I could be pushing it now. The CD's called the EP's called The Balancing Act, guys. It's wonderful. I've listened to the whole thing. Can you talk a little bit about some of your inspirations and influences for the album before we talk about specifically what's going on?
So when it came to sound, I actually listened to a lot of indie artists that people have probably never heard of or maybe don't listen to often. That have a lot of live instrument feels. And I knew that was something I wanted to do. And I produced the entire record myself.
Wow, that's your production?
Yes, that's my production.
It's gorgeous.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So I called over my my band and I said, this is what I want to hear from the bass. This is what I want to hear from the strings, like one at a time.
Wow.
So it was a labor of love.
Yeah.
The words came straight from my heart.
Yeah.
If you notice, there's a lot of love songs on there.
It's great.
And at the time, I had met my boyfriend, who's now become my fiance.
Congratulations.
We'll be married next year.
Seeing that ring, y'all.
Yeah.
For those listening on the podcast, she's got quite the ring. So, yeah. Good job. Whoever your fiance is, did a great job.
Yeah. So, I listened to so many good, hearty musicians. And I just wanted to put that out as like a new wave of R&B.
Absolutely. Well, and I love that you say you were kind of going for a live sound because the music feels kind of urgent on the album. Even though it's laid back, it has a sense of being right there in your ears when you listen to it. And so much music today doesn't have that. So I really feel like that's kind of the secret sauce that makes the EP so special.
Secret sauce. I like it. I'm going to use that as my secret sauce.
Absolutely. Is that so? The title is The Balancing Act.
Yes.
Does that come from the fact that you were such a multi-hyphenate on this CD, producing it, writing it? Is that kind of where the title comes from? Or?
Actually, no. I thought up the title because I am a nurse. I am a singer. At the time, I was fighting cancer.
Yeah.
I was, balancing a new relationship. And there was so many things that I had, I was balancing so many plates. And I was like, this is the story of my life, the balancing act. Like, everything all at once.
Yeah. Well, it's so, and even the music, it's thematically linked, which is great on an album, but all the songs have kind of their own flavor, which is so appreciated as a listener. So it's really wonderful. I have to applaud you.
Thank you so much for taking the time to listen.
Of course. I would not be a good interviewer if I didn't do my research. But I will say there are interviews you do where you listen and you're like, oh, that was cool. But it was a joy to do my research for this interview because the album kicks ass. So I'm so excited for you. Yeah,
Thank
it's great.
you.
What would be the best way for people to download the item? Or the album? Would you say iTunes or
iTunes, Apple Music,
Great.
Spotify, Amazon, Google, Tidal, wherever you can download digital music in any country, you can get this project.
Amazing. Are you touring?
No, I'm just doing spot dates right now. So
Great.
if anybody's out there and they want to book me.
Absolutely. Well, after they
Feel
hear this
free.
album, they definitely will want to book you. I have to say that. Okay, so we're actually not having you sing today on the show because for those listening, we have a sister network called Black Hollywood Live. It's the internet's best resource for African-American driven entertainment. And you just made an appearance on my friend Jesse's show, which is called The Beat. It's an awesome show that features up-and-comers like Felicia. So please go check that out if you want to hear a live performance. Though I was talking to Jesse, and he told me to ask you a question about your outfit today. For some reason, it has a connection to the voice, and I wasn't sure exactly what he was prompting, but he told me it was a great story, so I have to hear.
So at The Voice, initially when you do the blind auditions, they try their best to dress you in your own clothes, what
Right.
you bring, depending on how snazzy your wardrobe is at home. And then when you do reality segments, like when you see us with our coach or we're rehearsing with the band, we usually wear our own clothes. Well, I don't know why, but wardrobe never really liked my personal clothes too much, and they would always dress me from head to toe from the blind audition
really?
on. There were very few occasions where I got to wear my clothes, and every time they said, okay, bring your own clothes, I would bring this jumpsuit. And the stylist would be like, that is so fierce. And they'd be like, but the producer said you can't wear it. I'm like, why? I love this outfit. So now when I go do interviews, I'm like, I'm wearing this.
It's probably
jumpsuit.
because you looked too good, and it would have been unfair for your competition for you to wear that. It's
You
probably
are
why.
too kind.
It's funny because sometimes with wardrobe too, it's something as simple as like the camera can't handle that pattern, or like
getting the pattern cleared. Like I
Right.
learned so much behind the scenes about
all those rules with
so
production.
many rules and
Yeah.
regulations.
Are there any other kind of backdoor secrets about The Voice that we as fans but non-participants might be interested in learning? Anything that comes to mind? That's a great story, but
I think what a lot of people don't realize is that it's like one big family. It's a reality competition show, so a lot of people watch, especially like with the battles and the knockouts, when we have to go against somebody, and they're like, "Rah rah," that person sucked. This person was better. You're better. You're better. And it's so funny because when we were watching, when the knockouts happened, and I sang Celine Dion and then Cassie Joy, she sang My Church.
yeah.
We're sitting next to each other on the couch in the hotel watching this.
Wow.
And our phones are blowing up. And she's like, people are so nasty. Like, they think that we're like enemies and we're like the best of friends.
Yeah, how was that? Because I know a lot of people talk about when they have experiences on reality competition shows, there is kind of this family sense and everyone's rooting for each other. What was that like, though, to all of a sudden go on stage and that's technically your competition? How did you navigate kind of those feelings?
Well, I mean, it was terrifying, and especially in the case of Cassie Joy, because she was not only, a friend of mine, that was my roommate.
Wow.
So after I took the loss,
Right.
I had to go sleep next to her in the hotel that night. It was not pleasant.
Yeah.
So it's hard,
Yeah.
and as it was so funny because before the knockouts even happened, we got room together. So we didn't know that we were going against each other yet. And we both said, she says, I don't want to go against you. And I said, I don't want to go against you. And I said, there's no way we're going to be put together.
Wow.
And then when we found out we were both like devastated, like, no, not you.
Yeah. Well, then that probably means she had to take a new roommate, and you already had such a good relationship as roommates. So.
Yeah, that's my buddy.
Yeah.
If she's out there, hey, Cassie Joy.
Well, I can't tell you guys enough how great this EP is. It's wonderful. It's called The Balancing Act. For those of you guys who caught Felicia on The Voice, you get to see a really different side of her. And it's really fun for us to get to see your art. Because obviously when you're on a competition show, you can slay these songs, but how cool that we're getting to hear your original compositions. As someone who knows music, I can tell you the chord structures you're using are really interesting and nuanced and clearly come from a real musician. So just you guys have got to check out this album. For super technical music fans, it's got some great instrumentation you can listen to. For those who are kind of more casual listeners who love good lyrics, it's got really honest emotional lyrics you can connect to. So one of my favorite releases I've heard this year, I'd highly recommend The Balancing Act. Catch it anywhere, iTunes, Amazon. It's wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Of course, it's the best. Anything else you'd like to promote while we have you? Obviously, this is the big project, but what else can we keep our eyes out for right now?
What else can you keep your eyes
Your
out
wedding,
for?
I guess.
Oh, my wedding is going to be fabulous. But I'll be doing a couple of gigs in New York City.
Awesome.
For anybody who's around. I'll be headlining Soul Village, which is New York City's biggest R&B showcase, in August. And I'll also be opening for old school R&B singer John B at BB King's in
nice.
New York on August 25th. So.
Wow. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, for anyone listening, they can catch you on social media where?
Absolutely. At Felicia Temple, Instagram, Twitter, and at Felicia Temple Music on Facebook.
Wonderful. And you guys can find me, Jeff Graham, online at Jeffrey C. Graham. For those TV fans, I'm also reviewing Claws, the new TNT show, every Monday at 7 p.m. And Jesse, who hosts The Beat, is actually my co-panelist on that show. So we'd love for you guys to check that out. Felicia, once again, thank you so much.
Thank you
This
so
has been
much
so
for
much
having
fun, guys.
me.
And you can catch us all the time. We're always producing content. This is the Concert Experience, where we feature some of America's best talent and actually global talent as well. So keep tuning in, and you guys can catch us online, social media, AfterBuzz TV, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Thank you so much, guys. Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.